Greetings from home. There is a miracle taking place right now. We have said 3 little words, greetings from home, and it took that amount of time for you to fully integrate that vibration. And we tell you that is speeding up. The larger vision of humanity on planet Earth is starting to change in many different ways. So as we take you through some of the changes that are ahead here today, we also wish to give you the larger picture as to why these changes are happening and why they are needed at this moment. Let us explain. Everything on your side of the veil is what you call finite. In other words, it exists within a field of polarity and the illusion of time and space. So, everything, therefore, must have a beginning and an end, including the planet itself. And when you first incarnated on planet Earth, you did not have the physical bodies, but you were with her from the very beginning of her birth as well. Many of you had non-physical bodies, similar to what you would consider to be angels or beings with ethereal bodies. And then you developed these denser bodies because the earth was cooling. Everything was gaining density at that time. And for you to maintain your connections, you basically began to dance in density and began to gain these new physical bodies. Well, these physical bodies have gone through many evolutionary steps in the short time that you are here. Now, your medical sciences currently do not think that the human animal is evolving, but we ask you, whatever made you think it stopped? For it has been evolving since the very moment it was on the planet. And now you will see these evolutions take a more physical form. For the planet was finite. In other words, there was a beginning that you call the Big Bang, and there would be the end of planet Earth. Well, that was originally scheduled to take place between the year 2000 and 2012. It would have taken roughly 12 years to totally dismantle this planet. And that was originally the plan. Now you have shifted it all. You have changed. You have decided that you are staying. You begin at the very 11th hour to awaken from the dream, to open your eyes, and to start to take your power back. And we were so incredibly amazed, so incredibly, wonderfully amazed to see you awaken from the dream and take your power. Now you are using that power on a collective basis to change your environment, to change your reality, to raise what you are calling vibration on planet Earth. And as you do, we tell you, you are being successful. It is happening. You look around your world and you look at your systems and you see them starting to crumble. You see some of the challenges in your economic systems. You see some of your religious systems. Some of your other organizations are starting to have difficulties. And that is simply because of the change in vibration. If there is disharmony in anything and you raise vibration, that disharmony comes right to the surface and right to the front. So much of what you are seeing in your planet as dishevel or as everything shifting and changing is a natural reaction to what you have created here on planet Earth. But more importantly, for we have talked many times of those changes, we wish to speak today about the physical human body. For the human body was developed for you within a field of polarity. You must understand that many of your organs are dualized in some way throughout your physical being. But more importantly, it is actually the polarity of a negative and positive polarity that opposed each other. That created what you call a field of duality in which to live. Humans have been very successful in this field. But now things are changing, and your own evolution is taking you into what we call a field of triality. And the way for you to understand this is to simply imagine that you have 2 arms and that you walk through life many times balancing your life. What would happen if you had a third arm? How out of balance would you be immediately by not being able to have all your balance and body and everything in motion in order to carry that? It would take major adjustments. No, that is not one of the physical changes that are taking place. We know some of you have jumped ahead and started writing it down. No. Illustration. But let us tell you what is taking place. For much of the brain is starting to work differently. And medical sciences will actually be seeing this in the beginning. But we tell you, humanity is at the very cusp, very edge, on the very beginning edge of an evolutionary process that will take you roughly 210 years to complete. So you can understand that from the larger perspective of the timeline of humanity, that is evolution in the blink of an eye. But for you going through it, it will be challenging at best because you cannot see the end to it. We tell you the year 2222 will be a magical time because it will be the completion of a huge evolutionary cycle that will take much of your energy. But in the meantime, and what does that mean exactly? Are your bodies going to grow a third arm? Are you going to look different? Well, it's very difficult for us to actually predict where you are going to end up because all of it is contained in your heart. Yes, you thought the head was where we were pointing, but we tell you this balance between the head and the heart is the connection that will let you walk comfortably into this evolutionary process. This is the part that will start to balance and allow you to grow in the body and to find the new parts of it before it's even fully developed. Your own concepts, your heart energy is starting to create and open doors before you walk in. Even before you pick up the phone, it's affected the outcome of the phone call you were going to make. It is an energy that precedes you in everything you do. And now you will become consciously aware of that energy. But of the most part, let us explain how you will deal with energy. Because your spirit has been using a physical body. It is a beautiful blend of spirit and being and physicality to be able to pretend to be a human. And you are doing a very wonderful job at it. But now that that shift is starting to change, you will see shifts within your own emotional body first. We mentioned before that there was a wave of energy that is coming through planet Earth, changing everything. And we have mentioned it before because you have helped to create that wave. You have celebrated all these magical dates that are now culminating in the 12-12-12 of 2012. And literally, you have helped to set your own changes into being as well as create a new world around you. Now is simply to step into it, to claim it as your own, to make it your own, to make it your expression of light. But we tell you that there will be certain challenges with it. For what is happening right away is you have become sensitive to different energy levels of which you are unfamiliar. This is part of the reason that we have asked you to be cautious in your exposure to the sun during this summer because of the X-class solar flares that will be coming in. Normally, you simply have your own magnetic field and you fend off the harmful pieces. Now, with your changes and your own energetic changes going on, some of those defenses are removed. So we ask you to simply use common sense in your exposure to the sun during this summer. Next summer, it won't be a problem. But right now, with all the magnetic energy coming in from the sun, there are potentials to find things to experience things you do not wish to experience. So watch and become cautious of that. But what about the larger picture? What about how you can comfortably make some of these physical changes? How do you encourage the body to go through these changes and these shifts? Well, it's happening already. And many of you have not equated what is happening to you with a physical change in your body. But let us explain. For much of the energy has come through in a wave. The easiest way to consider the wave as if we were to pick up the carpet right now and make a big wave that would go all the way back and throw every chair off to the side. And anyone who is sitting out here would be obviously wrecked by that wave and toppled over. Well, that is kind of what is happening to many of you emotionally, because that outer shield has been changing already. And as a result, a huge wave of energy is going through all of humanity, changing everything. Many of you are wonderful teachers and healers and channels of light. Then you have been teaching and helping this planet to evolve. And many of you have felt disconnected over the last 6 months. Many of you have hidden it from view because you do not wish to speak of your disconnections or your feeling like you may have somehow lost your magic. But it is a common occurrence throughout the entire planet. For what took place was a wave of energy came in so strong that it partially removed some of the veil. And you have learned to use that veil to find your place, to have your sense of self. And as it's starting to remove, you are losing a little bit of your own identity. But at the same time, you are gaining the harmonic connection with all the other beings around you. And that is the biggest part that you will experience as you evolve, even physically. For the new physicality will let you see and consciously use your connection to other people. There are movies about this all the time. Your movies on planet Earth are covering these events every day now. Why do you think that is? They are planting seeds. That is often how we plant seeds on planet Earth, to let you know that everything is possible here if you only take charge of it. And that is the final piece. For many teachers and healers have recently gone through what would be called a second dark night of the soul. But it happened on a global basis. And the interesting part is all of it has been reconnected in a new, stronger way. But as that happens to each of you, you will tend to think that there is a failure or something missing, because the inner peace, the inner sense of self that each one of you carry with you loses a little bit of its credibility. But if you start to learn to really perceive yourself through the eyes of those around you, you lose nothing. Dear ones, you have a smile on your face when you feel happy, but have you ever thought of distributing that smile energetically to everyone you know? Have you ever thought about holding the joy in your passion of whatever it is that makes you smile, and to dare to focus your entire life on that heart energy rather than always what you think you are supposed to be doing? That is what is taking place. You are moving from the head to the heart. And you are learning to readjust your lives in many different ways. There will be a big celebration in the year 2222. What you don't know is that many of you may be there. There are many parts that you are discovering very quickly about your medical sciences and about your physiology. You know that you are using only small parts of your potential. That is changing. Your systems will be on full charge very soon if you ask for it. It is not something that's going to come to you. It is not something that's going to overload you without your asking for it. But know that once you start this process and once you set this into motion, you are moving into the age of empowerment. For you are no longer in a field of duality where you can measure things in right or wrong, good and bad, black and white, love and fear. You are now starting to see things with a new balance of the higher self. You're starting to connect to all of your dimensions and to be a single ray of light again. It's not an easy transition, and we ask you to help each other make that process work. For the magic is on planet Earth. You have come with the magic. You have held it all your lives. Now use it. Play with it every day. There is nothing to wait for. The time is now. Enjoy this journey, dear ones. And know that we are behind you every way possible, not to help you make the right turn, not to teach you which way is best, but to simply love you for who you are. You are bringing the light from home and shining it through your eyes. You are changing this planet to create heaven on earth. And it is working. It is with the greatest of honor that we ask you to treat each other with respect. Nurture one another and hold the door open every chance you get. But this is a totally different game you are stepping into. Please remember to play well together. Espavo.
Espavo. I don't have Kleenex. Oh, well. Here, use my sleeve.
All right.